new evidence, and it's showing that there was 40. So you might want to write this number down if you want to know what it is exactly.
Okay, go ahead. 48.
So it's $48,547.27.
Okay, he wrote it down.
And that's as of February 22nd, 2018.
Okay.
You know what?
Wait. I take that back on the date.
The date, no. It's different.
No, that's got to be right. Okay. Well, the only place I see the date is as of February 22nd, 2018, Columbia Fiduciary Hub has not received verification that Mr. J. Shoemaker has turned over any of veterans' remaining VA funds under his possession. Okay?
Uh-huh.
So what they will do, and it looks like they've already started the process, is a debt collection with Mr. Shoemaker. And what that entails is, because he had a surety bond in place,
$56,000.
so they will go to the insurance company to try to have it reimbursed.
Correct.
If there was a surety bond, it looks like there's some question on the dates of the surety bond. If the surety bond does not replace the money,
Then you said the VA would have to, right?
my understanding, now don't quote me on that, but my understanding is the VA does. So it doesn't really specifically state that in here, though.
Here.
So I'm hoping that will happen.
Doug wants to say something.
Okay?
Okay.
How quickly that happens is probably going to be a while.
Snails,
I don't mean
yeah.
like 10 years. I mean like 10 months to a year. I mean, it's not going to happen
Tomorrow, yeah.
like within the next week or something. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
But the good news is it's getting there.
Okay.
Okay?
We could do without something, though. I mean, there's some things we could sell and do without, just to try to balance his budget for him, and always worry about that later. I mean, it's his property. He could if he wants to put it back in his bank, you know, for Shoemaker or for Mr. Winters.
With a misuse investigation, when that money gets reimbursed, when there's a fiduciary in place, it goes to the VA fiduciary account. I mean, that happens automatically, just like all the other direct deposit. But Mr. Winters, you know, already knows that you want a pool table and...
Well, we're not even worried about all that stuff, Julie. Just...
And yeah, but he knows that, you know, you guys, that Doug wants all his personal spending every month, and you all want a pool table, and he's already said that, you know, he has no problem getting that when he receives this money that he's supposed to be getting, hopefully sooner than later.
Yeah, we're not worried. That's no big deal.
Julia, I have a...
Look, go ahead.
I have this is from the Columbia Fiduciary to Adam Shoemaker in 2015. It says, request you submit copy of Shirley bond in the amount of $56,000.
Yeah, she would have that.
I don't think that ever happened. Let me look.
It says that on a piece of paper. I got it from
Remember the date, time, maybe the...
Yeah, it looks like the surety bond at that time was for $21,000. Like that was the last one that we had in our system, although one was requested more. So what happens is the VA goes back to the insurance company to get whatever is covered by the insurance company, and then let me do it this way.
So it would
And
be...
then they go ahead.
Would it be a waste of time then for Doug to even, you know, because he was considering getting a lawyer and trying to have them come in and investigate everything that you guys know and...
It looks like that's already happening.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure a lawyer can make it happen any faster.
Right. Right.
So, in my opinion...
Is there a form he could fill out, like a
your
VA?
money on that right now?
You know the VA forms. Is there any VA forms he could fill out and maybe try to get any answers that way, or? Like I see there's a lot of forms online, but I don't want to just start filling out forms for him or whatever.
Well, what answer are you wanting?
Like he wants access to some of this information. He doesn't have any paperwork yet. Like you were looking at a computer, couldn't you print off some of that and send it to him? Say, here it is, Doug. I mean, he has nothing. He's never gotten anything. Ever.
You know, I got a letter to Adam Shoemaker by your Fiduciary hub. It says you're not required to provide bank statements or other documents submitted to VA in support of your accounting.
Right. Well, that's the rules.
But that's not
No,
right.
it is required. Yeah. What is the date on that surety bond letter that you have?
What's the date?
It's January 8th, 2015.
Wow, you go
Okay, let me
back.
look there for it.
You keep good records for an incompetent guy, Doug. Wait a minute. Honestly, though, Julie, Doug really is not incompetent. He's going to try to fight and show that he's not incompetent, but he's come a long ways, you know. He really has.
Well,
You notice he's not in the... Remember he used to be in the hospital all the time, back and forth, out of the hospital, in the hospital, out of the hospital? Remember that? He hasn't been in the hospital in years, Julie.
Well, for that, he needs to get a letter from his doctor stating he's competent and submit it to the regional office. Now, I found out in a meeting yesterday that if you go to e-benefits and submit it online, that it will happen faster.
Wow.
Is he signed up for e-benefits?
I don't know. You know, I have a hard time with that. I do computers, but I really get a hard time. Like I get food stamps, and I don't even know how to get into that stupid thing. You know what I mean? I have a hard time with that crazy government computer stuff.
Right.
So he's probably not.
I'm just going through a few. You said January 8th, 2015. Yeah.
2015, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a long ways.
I don't see any surety bond around that time, so let me go backwards.
Well, it says request you submit copy of surety bond.
Yeah.
So it wasn't for sure.
Email. Let's see if it's in this email.
So, Julie, back to that question I asked you. Could you send him any of this so he has something on paper? Because he has nothing but your word.
I would do is, because I'm not officially allowed to mail out stuff,
Oh.
what I would do is contact the Columbia Fiduciary Hub.
Oh, he gets nowhere with them. He was just on the phone with them before he called you, and they're like, we don't
They
see
couldn't
anything.
even find out about the 48,000.
Yeah, they couldn't find nothing. She said, I don't see any of that
Well,
paperwork.
it wasn't. It's because it wasn't really in the. It's like within the misuse investigation, it hasn't been uploaded to the actual system yet.
Oh, wow.
it just-
That's why.
So it's
Okay.
May 20th. So it just hasn't been processed yet, and that's why. Like I really had a hard time finding it.
Huh.
I wouldn't have kept searching if you hadn't said you had just talked with them and they said 48,000. You know.
Okay. Is that number going to change again, though? I mean, is it 99? Is it 48? Does it change? Or
It doesn't look like it because that was determined. Well, I take that back. If Mr. Shoemaker were to send in more evidence to show where that money went, you know.
But, I mean, who's questioning that? Like, he could say, well, Doug got a new car. Well, Doug didn't get a new car. But who's looking to make sure that what he's sending in?
He's not allowed to just say that. We have to have actual evidence. So it has
Really?
we won't.
Like, I mean, who's going to say, well, Doug received anything? I mean, Doug doesn't even get to view it to see, well, maybe I didn't get any of that. So he could send in 20,000 and stuff. How do you verify any of that stuff, Julie?
Well, that's kind of like why with Mr. Winters, when he says he needs the receipt
Right, okay.
you bought someplace, that's
Okay.
why he needs it. So if anything comes up later, we have actual evidence. Because we're not going to take his word that, I sent him this money to go buy a generator. We're not going to do that.
Okay,
No?
okay, okay.
So
That's where that comes in.
yeah.
Okay,
And
that makes sense.
so, I mean, I know it makes it kind of difficult
to verify
So
anything,
Mr.
right?
Winters is actually following the rules, while
Right.
Mr. Shoemaker
Yep.
maybe kind of, he maybe it maybe felt like he showed more concern for him because he would just do it without getting the receipts and stuff. But
Right.
if he actually used that $48,000 toward Doug,
Right.
he has no proof of that.
Do you-
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. Do you guys verify that? Like, say Mr. Winters got cancer and he's like, well, I got nothing to lose. I can spend all this money. There's nothing they can do about it. I'm dying of cancer. I mean, do you guys verify anybody's health? Because I know that makes a big difference in their decision to, not do what they're supposed to do, You don't verify if they're...
Every time we appoint somebody, we're out there physically meeting with them, and with our professional fiduciaries, at least the ones I use, I'm out there quite a bit meeting with them.
Yeah.
And like one of them recently told me that he had been in the hospital because of his heart condition. This wasn't Mr. Winters. This was another fiduciary in this area.
Okay, yeah.
And so, like, what he's done is he found somebody that he wants to have shadow him and kind of train him so that way he can take over his cases if anything happens.
Oh,
And I've
okay.
actually started sending him, this person I'm going to appoint, like, him to be in charge of 2 cases just to help get his feet wet, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
When I thought that was a really good idea. So I told my other professional fiduciaries, and Mr. Winters actually thought that was a good idea too. And so he has somebody that he is willing to train also. So that way, if anything were to happen, he would have that person, would know kind of his record keeping and how to find what, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Does Mr. Winters have someone shadowing him then, or that's not what you're saying?
He does. It's just very recent.
Oh, okay. So just in case, so you do have backup plans.
Yeah.
Good,
So he
good.
just got approved last month. And then, like, I have another professional fiduciary whose wife helps him and knows everything going on. And another one, his wife helps him and knows everything going on. And I only have one that he has an assistant. He's an attorney and it's usually with family members that we run into more of an issue with that. But,
Wow.
yeah.
So you got that figured out, though. That's good. I mean, at least you have backups.
Yeah. I didn't think about it until that other professional fiduciary said that's what he was going to start doing because he was in the hospital for a few days because of his heart. And I was like, you know what? That's a really good idea.
Right, it is, yeah. Just in case.
So, yeah.
That's pretty neat. Yeah.
And then, again, we have people in place. We have the surety bonds. And then if the VA didn't do their due diligence to get everything, then the VA owes the veteran money back.
Right. So how would Doug go about getting paperwork now, you say? Because it's not even in the system.
I think he really, right now, he probably couldn't get it because it's not really, hasn't even, like when I submit a report, it goes to somebody to be processed. So that misuse report showing $48,000, it hasn't even been processed yet. It's been submitted, but not processed.
How often do you deal with stuff like this, Julie? I mean, is this a regular occurrence with the VA, or is this something that, like, you're just dealing with this one case that's very rare, or what's the deal with that?
For professional fiduciaries, it's really rare.
And Adam was professional?
No, he was new.
Yes.
He was professional, though, she says.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't a friend or family member. You know what I'm saying? So with our friends and family members, it happens more frequently.
Wow.
But it's not like they actually misused the money. It's more that they didn't really understand.
Do you know anybody that ever went to jail for misuse?
Yes.
Do you?
I didn't know them personally, but yes.
You do know people go to jail for doing wrong with the VA, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Good. I mean, if you exposed these people, just exposing them would be enough. That would end Adam's career if we exposed it,
Yeah, I remember an attorney in Florida, like when I was in training, there was an attorney in Florida, I think it was, that had gone to jail. And, so I'm not sure.
What do they buy? Like, let's say you're an attorney, you're already making $100,000 every 6 months, or whatever. Well, what the heck would you need somebody else's money? I mean, on cocaine? What are they on to buy all that stuff?
I don't know. First of all, not all attorneys make